Lama Nam Gumbo Janga Yang La Chang Sa Lo Kong Ge Lan Jin Jin Yen Jin Zha Nye Dai Nang Dai Ra Sa Jin Yen Deng Gun Ji Shen Si Ye Jin Tu Ga Li Bang Zhen Gong Da Si Bin Chen Ra Ma Ri Men Du Ma Ji Si Dozo Gun La Ko Jin Da Se Yan Lai Zhu Ju Yang Den Zong Zhu Dai Che Zhu Nye Mo Nye Lo Le Jie Jia Zhu Du Zi Jin Ma Ri Men Sin Du Mai Nyu Gu Jin Ye Jin Da Di Nan De Ne Da Jin Sa Ji Da Zin Yen Den De Zong Jia Si Du Yi Chu Zha Chu Dan Chu Nien Jin Jin Da Le Men Zin Jiang Bei Yong La Yen Di Mara Bhajana 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 Di Umara Bhajana Di Umara Bhajana Di Umara Bhajana Di Umara Bhajana Umara Bhajana Di Umara Bhajana Di Umara Bhajana Di Zedin Cheji Chera Zen Jin Dale De Mom and Barazu Kadan Denji Jungla Dubai Laje Kobiano Randu Kanji Jingo Redan Jingo Janzi Jondo Kadin Jongda Majiba Palo Jinji Jinja Visha Jindu Jima Mimba Languera Dundi Jingo Jimbe Konen Janga Jinja Zunjo Jiwan Zaranam Jindu Jinja Zuzim Brinzidu Zong Bayamimo Yazazimendo Rajim Zimbizu Zundu Barvindu Gun Migin Zinju Jinama Gunyashu Jidensum Jivon Jabe Tuame Mongarbe Jivendirin Dale Inzurjon Pemanjone Dale Inzurjon Devadan Tomini Cholan Jinda Jani Bozo Zanin Jencholan Jedi Jon Jin Bilbo Denga Jamba Vishadra Nimbi Bevin Anjurba Jimmy Zirja Jenda Jon Jinole Gombilone Bobet Jedo Doshin Janze Monju Mibam Jambi Anjeda Jon Balobadan Dujin Jimmy Manamazu Ungurishinabe Miji Jinjela Menda Jon Jinin Bamenda Jezala Kunjaran Junduji Jimbidin Dujingala Mentanawa Podin Lami Janje Jon Yendezan Yanaya Kadin Zanje Gunin Habibin Jalazo Azo Jujin Jambebe Sembaran Devan Dadan Dirjinje Namoya Damba Laik Nalo Dani Jingin Gunda Nami Ginamdan Dua Danam Jizamba Tamje Gedo Sosuru Tejunji Majurna Gita Danyam Besenjin Tamje Namdo Teni Devan Aname Bayanda Varzobi Sanji Jingu Hwan Vachana Chini Janku Vasha Chendo Tebachimbe Shunlu Jazichin Bashwala Deniji Zibi Junju Deni Tsushindu Sene Nyamsolong Jo Nyamdo Samba Janju Chodo Tuji Badanche the same time. So as usual, that generating this awakened mind, that thinking for the sake of motherly sentient beings, in order to liberate from this cyclic existence and its cause, and to lead them to complete enlightenment. For that purpose, I'm going to listen this Mahayana scripture composed by Shantideva called The Way of Bodhisattva's Life. And then I will try my best to put into practice. in my day-to-day life. With that kind of motivations or intention, study this scripture, Bodhicharayavatara, and then based on this great intention and also the modified the manner or the conduct while listening this Dharma teachings that focus, listen ear on teaching, the words and the voice of the teaching, kind of like listen carefully in an excellent way. Try not to mix while listening this Dharma teachings any sorts of emotions like pride or hatred or jealous or whatsoever those emotions, and try not to mix into this meritorious activity in a that listen carefully in an excellent way, and then try to hold its meaning and its worth as much as we can. So with this preparation, now the teaching Bodhicharayavatara, that as usual I'm saying, it has 10 chapters and 4 themes. So today we are here in this second theme, which is the how to say that the first theme that which Shantideva instructing or the guiding us that the benefit or the potential of having this bodhicitta within oneself. And then second and third chapter. So this beneficial bodhicitta, in order to have within oneself, how one should prepare and how actual one can receive. That introduced or the guide by these 3 chapters. And then second theme is to now, after we able to receive that Bodhisattva's vow, and in order not to transgress, in order to maintain this bodhicitta, and then what we should do. And then Shantideva further introducing. So in order not to transgress, then we need to have this sense of carefulness, and then the mindfulness and the introspections. And then with its all explanation, the reason why it is needed, and then almost gone through. And then now, based on this sense of carefulness and the mindfulness and introspection, and based on this, then that how one can engage into this morality of this Mahayana, which the morality or the discipline, it has this 3 types or the 3 kind of like levels. So the first that discipline, which discipline of the refraining from the wrongdoing, and then the second one is the discipline of the gathering virtue. So first we need to understand that the discipline of the refraining from the wrongdoing or the misstate. So how that ourself can lead by those conditions that as the until yesterday that we studied those, that what kind of situations and what kind of objects and what kind of the how to say environment that can becomes condition for ourselves to engage into misdeed or the wrongdoing. So in order to that many of this method, that if anyone who wish to not to transgress their own bodhisattva's vow, then better not to engage into those activity, that physical activity and mental activity, and even including this tiny object that he is also very carefulness that introducing, it's like even not gazing all around without any reasons. And then also he's really showing that, but not really with the restricted, that when we have a different purpose, then we can also be a balance in the neutral, in a kind of like a middle way. That how he introduced so far. With that, we completed that how to discipline of refraining from wrongdoing or the misstate. How to avoid that. And then now, now from here, that how to the discipline of the gathering virtues. So the discipline of the gathering virtues, that actually yesterday those 4 stanza from 55 to 58, that also showing a little bit of meaning of this discipline of gathering virtues, that he's suggesting until that 54 stanza, that he's guided until that what one should avoid in order to maintain the discipline of the refraining from wrongdoing. And then the 55 to 58, it is also something that now he is suggesting. So these are the activities, or these are the things that it's better to have very firmly within oneself in order not to transgress our bodhisattva's vow. And then now this the stanza number 59, that now this mainly showing this discipline of the gathering virtues, how to gather all the virtues within oneself. Actually, that's called the discipline. And then now with that, this he's explaining from here first that the cause or the condition that which can prevent us, or which can stop us to training ourselves to the way of bodhisattva's life. So first, in order to in order to gather the virtues, and we need to understand what are the causes and conditions which can really, the opposite one, what are the causes and conditions which can really prevent us or they stop us to gather all the virtues. So first, this kind of like this is something like avoidance that he's explaining from here, that what we need to avoid. And then that what Shanideva was saying from here is that he's instructing, that he's saying this body is the very condition that can prevent us to train ourselves into the way of bodhisattva's life. So therefore, we must keep little gap and distance with this our body. Means that attachment now. So we need to give up a little bit attachment towards one's own body. Because he introduced you from here that among the, actually there's many conditions can prevent us, like the kind of, how can I say that now, the wealth, money, finance, that also prevent this human being to engage or the gather the virtuous action too. Because for the purpose of finance, then here we can see very clearly in this nowadays world, for the money, purpose is to collect money. Then what people are doing in this world. There's so many different things that we can give examples. And even that now we can see like this, the very rough example that we can see those persons who is going to the sea to collect all those lobsters and the, what you call those shrimps or whatsoever that usually we eat. And they are taking so hardship, even they take the risk of their life because of the finance. That's all because of the finance. And this finance, there are actually many different the conditions that can prevent us to gather the virtuous, or that can prevent us to engage into the virtuous actions. And among all this, that Shantideva is kind of like here concluding or the summarizing, or he's pointing out the main point here, kind of like where it is really the source, that it's all, the finance are all are kind of like a secondary, yeah, that we try to collect the finance because of our body. If there's no body, we don't have to collect those finance as well. So therefore, he's kind of like pointing out the main point or the summarizing, and then he's pointing out here. So actually, this body is the source, is the very condition for every being, and then yes, particularly who wants to practice this way of Bodhisattva's life. And that if we are unable to detach a little bit from this body, our own body, then it can become very conditions for oneself to unable to engage into this way of Bodhisattva's life, or kind of like a gathering all the virtues, whatsoever we can call. So therefore, so now from here, main is the body. So therefore, he is, rather than he's saying so many things, he's kind of like pointing out the main thing, and then he is giving some idea how to reduce, how to detach, or how to reduce so attached to this body, and how to say, what kind of analysis can help us to reduce this this attachment, so strong attachment towards this body. And therefore now from here his this all guidance is to reduce, or we can also say reduce, or to get rid of this attachment towards one's own body. And that how he is kind of like guiding is that the first one, that the first method that he's trying to letting us contemplate on this meaning, think, analyze on this meaning, and then reduce some attachment towards one's own body. The method is that he's saying, "Chagu shall chabai, pensun kundu shall chiyang, yichu mingar mijena tata chichil katachis." So now this is one method that he's showing, he's introducing, which is the stanza number 59, that if, O mind, you will not be aggrieved when vultures with their love of flesh are tugging, right? Tugging at this body all around. Why are you so besotted with it now? Kind of like a question mark. They put it question mark. This is method. This method might works or might not works. It depends. But one thing I can say that what I can say is that when we really see that this is kind of like he's talking about sky berry, right? Sky berry. That still I think in Tibet happening this sky berry, and in India before they do too sky berry. So this is the method that he is trying to analyze about sky berry. After we passed away, then at that moment that our this body flesh will going to be offered to those animals like vultures and so on. And this is now how can I say, if you really see and that's how during this sky berry that how those vultures shrugging this our own shrugging this body all around, and it's struggling. Then some even myself, how to say, when I watch those some sky berries, this it is feels at that moment it gives some sense feeling that, oh, this is how I will going to end my this life at the end of my life. And so far right now I'm very taking care of this body, and if this the case, there's not much point to taking care of this body. That kind of sense we can have it when we watch those sky berries things. If I don't think that if anyone doesn't have any idea about this sky berry, then this idea, I don't know how much it gives sense, how much it helps to detach the attachment towards your own body. But somehow, this is the one method here Shantideva is showing from this stanza number 59. The purpose is to detach the attach. Is it detach the attach?
Or just
Detach
from the, just detaching from it.
Just detaching from it. No need attach.
Yeah, detach from the body.
Detach from the body, yes. To reduce attach or to detach the body.
Yeah.
Detach the body or reduce the attachment towards the body,
Yes.
to the body. So this is one method that he just want us to analyze or contemplate on, that how this body will going to be end up at the end and after we passed away. And at that moment, this, yes, definitely, that at that moment, the at that moment, actually, our conscious kind of like a no choice that not to like or dislike or not dislike. There's no option for it because it's conscious and bodies is already become two things, two completely different things. Now this body is not anymore your body. This body is just like some flesh, like some things, just things. There's nothing, and it is just like this materials now. When our conscious out from our body, this body becomes like a material. Like this becomes meat, and how we eat meat normally. But however, so this, I think this method, that one method, this, if, O mind, you will not be aggrieved when vultures with their love of flesh are tugging at this body all around. If that the case, then he's kind of like raising question, why are you so besotted with it now? So now, kind of like, how can I say this? We humans are so tricky again now, and sometimes we make and say, oh, that time is time different time. We may say that we are very tricky. Yes, we may say that. Oh, but somehow, yes, maybe I will going to end up in this way. But as long as I am alive, I will going to take care of this body. This is something actually Shantideva was not saying that you cannot take care at all. He's not saying that. He's not saying that because you can see clearly later that how he's saying that how it does not mean that we cannot care. Actually, on the other hand, that it is saying that we should care more because of this impermanent. If it is permanent, then we don't need to care. It is impermanent. It is keep changing. Therefore, we should care. That's not the case. That's not the case. Then I always kind of like trying myself this way too. And also I'm suggesting to my friend always, like saying that put your best, zero expectation. Put effort 100%ly, whatever wants to achieve. Put effort 100%. Put your best. But don't ever keep hope that this my try, this my best method will going to work and I will going to achieve this my wish 100%ly. And that now we should keep 0%. That's very healthy if we are able to do this. If it is able to do this, this is now exactly here Shantideva was saying. The purpose is to detach or remove, attach to this body. That's all. As long as you don't have attached to this body, and then Shantideva was not saying that, oh, even you are not allowed to take care of your body. Then he's not saying this at all. Because we are right now, we are unable to making these two distinct very clearly. So he's kind of like letting us think in a very roughly. So this is very useless that you are so much spending time and taking care. This is how you will going to end. Actually, this is sometimes it is true too that for instance, what I can give example like that earning lots of money, okay, making lots of money, and then if you see that how it will going to end up, then you don't really wants to make money much. If you watch how it will going to end up, isn't it? That, for instance, if I make lots of money, let's say I made millions and millions of dollars, then if I'm unable to spend all this in a proper way, then this is all in a safe, right? And then even when I die, I may not die peacefully. And then this money, I made it and I saved it for utilize. Now I'm dying, I'm not unable to utilizing those things. And then my purpose is really becomes misery, useless. When we think those, and that can kind of like help us to reduce so strong willing to collect and make money. But if we don't ever look at its result, how it will going to end up, then maybe we keep making money. We don't want to see the result, how it will going to end up. This is similar like that way. Does it make sense? Okay, so how can I put it now? This one way that seeing result, it can definitely reduce willing to make. And this, my finance, can becomes condition for my family to fight. Not just me unable to die peacefully, but also it can becomes condition for my family to fight, argue. And then they become very bad enemy each other. So if you see all this result of making money and saving, then maybe we will going to rethink. We will going to reconsider. Oh, should I save this or should I just make it completely disappear, completely use it while I am alive. Whatever I think proper, use it or keep it. We may reconsider. If we don't analyze or contemplate that result, oh, saving money can become condition for myself to unable to die in a peaceful way. And then plus, it also can becomes condition for rest of my family members to fight, argue for this wealth. Yeah, this is happening quite often. It is very normal in this world, happening every time. And everywhere, actually, we can say this, everywhere. There's no different races, I think. Asia happening, America happening, Europe happening, everywhere. Even those poor countries, still this is happening. They don't have much, but they will fight for whatever they have. Whatever their parent left. And that becomes this is something become like even my father's family, my own father's family. That really became, it's already happened. They become kind of like a very misery within their brothers and sisters. Because this my grandpa, he saved a lot of money. He make a lot of money and he saved a lot of money. He didn't utilize all of them. And he didn't divide it all of them, or whatsoever we can call. And then later, him not easy to go away, and also remaining his own son and daughter became very mass, whole family mass up. This is now just one example. This is something quite happening often, quite often happening everywhere, and especially that how can I say now? I heard some children, they saying even, I'm waiting for my parents. What?
To die so they can get the money.
Yeah, the properties, monies. You see? This is now, how about that? If parents understand all of these things, I think definitely parents will going to reconsider. But somehow, this is something not so difficult to think, actually, analyze. But somehow we don't really want to analyze that. Even some parents know their children, their son and daughter will going to think about it, but still they don't want to analyze. If they really analyze, yes, then that becomes very condition for themselves to reconsider for sure, I think. Being a human, When you find out a good reason, definitely going to reconsider. Unless you are kind of like a very cuckoo. Even finding all good reasons, still not going to reconsider. I don't think so. That being a human have this normal intelligence. Definitely, I think going to be reconsidered if they able to analyze. But somehow, yes, it is true. We don't want to analyze that. Even someone when they talk about it, I don't know, maybe they don't like to talk about that topic at all. Anyhow, what I am trying to making point is here. If you try to watch how it is going, how it can end up, how it can become many conditions for the trouble, then that person may going to reconsider. Similar like here, this way. Now this is same analogy here. Same analogy that he is trying to letting us analyze, or he is trying to letting us watch the end of your life. And through that, he is trying to let us have some sense of reconsider over taking care of one's own body. And this is the method, actually. And at the same time, also as I told you earlier, so now it does not, he is not saying that you cannot take care at all. As I said earlier, put your 100% effort and keep 0% expectation. That very kind of like helps. That I know very clear. It helps in many different situations, not only finance, not only this, any kind of situations, that whatever we want to achieve, we want to have within oneself. Yes, kind of like almost we can say that being a human, we have a right to speak up what we want. We have a right to achieve what we want, but not necessarily that what you how to say, even though we have a right to achieve, we will going to get it. That's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. If I think I have a right to this cup of water, and somebody also thinking that they have a right to get this cup of water too. So how two-person can get one cup of water? No way that you can get it. No way you can get it. I got it. Anyway, so put 100% as effort and 0 expectations is, I think, very healthy to try in any kind of situations. And but at the same time here, now this method, as I told you earlier, this is something that he is trying to letting us watch the how it will going to end up. Just like this finance example I gave you, that if I just make money and save money, then if I analyze what it really makes for myself when I die, or after I die, what it can really makes for my remainder, my families. If we analyze in that way, then maybe I will reconsider saving all this money. I may reconsider making this lots of money. But somehow we fail to consider that. We fail to analyze that. Therefore, even somebody whose their faculties, everything is degenerated or kind of like that, became very weak, but still they want to keep doing business. They want to keep making money. A lot of people are there. Most of the high businessmen are old, about to go, but they are doing business. Anyhow, so the point here, he's as I told you earlier, he's, how to say, we don't need to worry that he's not saying that you should care less about your body. No. You should reduce your attach. Yes. This is what he is really trying to say by utilizing this method to watching the end, watching the how it is going to end. Then seeing what's the point of, same like that, what's the point of saving all this money now? What's the point of making lots of money now? If I see the result, this is what it will going to become by this saving money, become this making money, isn't it? Similar like that way that he's trying to letting us contemplate on its result and its end. At the end, what will going to be happen with this body. But now here, this is one way of, this is one thing happening after passed away. Now this is one example. Nowadays, I think most of the place, this is not happening. Anyhow, we will going to disappear this body in a very massive way, not in a good way. No matter whether we mess up with this cover or very openly. This skyberry is very openly, right? Everybody can see. Oh, this intern is going here and there with the vultures, their mouth, and then bones, legs, ears, everywhere. Flesh, skins, that we can see very mass. And also, I also have this one concern about this nowadays, this world. We are covering all the naturals, not letting us see the naturals. Even I gave you my own experience. In the highway, that last year, I think, I'm going towards Niagara Falls. And that one lady, I think in the news, later shows in the news, she is 51 years old. She's biking highway. Then she died right on the spot, on the QEW. When I approached to that area, she's kind of like a totally completely different way. That I'm going towards Niagara Falls, she is biking towards Toronto. And then when I approach where this accident happened, there's no way I can see even one pieces of bike's things. Whole covered. Not letting anybody to see it. Except then those hospital people, maybe police and hospital people. And that right on the spot, maybe some people saw it, no choice. They cannot cover that because they don't know it is happening or not. But as soon as they arrive, gone. Now nobody can see it. At that moment, I thought it like this. Oh, one way it's very sad. She died on the spot there. I did some Mani Mantra. I did some Amitabha Mantra while I'm driving. But I'm not really concentrating while I'm driving because I have to watch my road too. Mom. woman, baby mother, and then dedicating for her life. Maybe she have a lot of peace in the Bhagavad seat and then may liberate from Pandu to Amitabha sphere. And just this, my thinking is very much mixing with the concentrating on the road too, together, kind of like that. And then after that, I thought, oh, so now I cannot see anything else. If those police let everybody watch this, it can become condition for everybody to cautious when you bike or drive. But since nobody is seeing it, and everybody is normal, and then another could happen too. There's no cautious. And this is very joke. Even in India, we're saying before, between this Namdoling to Bangalore, some of you may know that, we have very bad road condition, but very less accident. There's no accident much. Because people cannot drive at speed. Drive like this. How can accident happen? But nowadays, road like that. We try to cover all natural. We try to modify everything very artificial. And similar like that, also that when people die, and then I heard this they take all out, blood and everything out. And then they make this dead body very look clean and nice. And then I went to many funerals, right? When I watched those dead body, instead of giving me this sense, it feels like he's just sleeping there. That's how nowadays we're covering the natural. And then we're not letting people to have a kind of like that sense. We're missing that sense now. And people not hesitating to die. They think, oh, if I die, I become clean. Just like that. Look at there. In a box, in a very calm way, sleeping. This is all made it. Here all cut it here, right? Here they stitch. I don't know what they're doing here. And then
Still many people afraid of dying.
no, but still we're trying to cover as much as we can, so don't let them have that sense of fear.
What it's really like, the carcass starts to smell things. People don't want to see that. They want to see everything get perfect.
See? Yeah, that's why.
If you listen to people, you see the family, they say, "Oh, he looks so good." Good.
He looks so good.
He never looked better. He never looked better. What? He didn't look better. He's dead.
That's how people talking?
Sure. He looks so
See? That's how we want to cover now. And in one hand, maybe it's okay to do that, but on the other hand, we're losing that sense. We're losing that sense, and we are unable to detach. When we don't have that sense, then there's one condition is missing for us to detach, us to remove attachment. This, if we are saying very clearly, say, even at that moment, I thought it. If I see this lady who is just dying there on the road, oh, definitely sure, I make him get that sense very obvious way. Oh, this is how dangerous, driving very careless. Not just careless, even driving. Even you care, If somebody no care, you're gone. Right? Not necessarily you care and 100% safe. No. Even somebody no care, then you boom. Even you are on the right spot, they will hit you, right? Anyhow, so the point is that I think we shouldn't lose that sense. Nowadays, we trying to cover everything to not have any sense. We try to cover all this. So anyhow, so nowadays this is not happening, right? Sky bed is not happening. It's happening most of the time in this countries, those Western countries, America, Canada, make it very nice, and then he just look just like that right now. Dal, you said, oh, he looks better than before, and he or she is just sleeping there. That doesn't give any sense now. So we are, I don't know now, instead of this method, if Shantideva used that nowadays our method. Oh, mind, you will not be aggrieved when your body is very in a very peaceful way, sleeping in the box. And then everybody offering flower instead of tugging at all around. Okay, instead of the love of the flesh are tugging at this body all around. Instead of that, their love towards you and putting all the flowers. And then what? Why are you so besotted with it now? How it makes sense now nowadays. If we use this completely different nowadays, what happening after we are die? Maybe this method then doesn't work. The main purpose is to reduce attach. However, okay, so now this is the one method. Actually, these are not something difficult to understand. This is something now has to analyze or contemplate. And then he's providing also another method. Ludin dagir sonjene yichu chichir sonwashi. Chodan tini soso na dego chola chishi chas. Now this is different method. Why, oh mind, do you protect this body, taking it to be your own? You and it are each a separate entity, right? I don't know how this translated is now. Oh, why, oh mind, do you protect this body, taking it to be your own? Yeah, that's right. You and it are each a separate entity. However, can it be of use to you? Does this method helping? It is not. Sometimes it is not necessary. Okay, it is not necessary. This, as I always saying, right? It is not necessary. This all method must work. No. For somebody may not. This kind of things now here again. people who doesn't have a deep sense of understanding this mind and body is completely two different things, then this method is not that makes sense. If we think this body and this mind is the same, one test, then this method may not work. We don't have that intelligence to define different these two things from the beginning. So we don't have that sense. And then what this method, how this method helps. Entity means that kind of like an essence, isn't it? Entity, essence, or it's natural, isn't it? Now we're just talking about it's natural, isn't it? What is the entity?
Something that's an identity.
Huh?
Something that has an identity.
Identity. Entity.
Yeah.
Identity.
Something that you can give an identity
Yeah, this method may not work the person who doesn't have that deep sense. These are the two completely different things. When somebody have this sense, this two is completely different thing. Let me tell you here one. This is, I think, very challenging to have that sense too. Let me tell you this one thing, that one of our friend Tugu, now he's already passed away. He's not old actually. His name is Tugu Chugu. He's passed away 2 years before, in Tibet. He had this cancer disease, and he had the surgery, and then take off almost like more than a kg flesh from inside, kind of like that extra flesh. Tumor, yeah. And then they kind of like we went there. Yes, after his surgery, I went there. I visit him. Then we talk. How is it? How it went? It's very good. He's very good. I mean, his body is not good. Yeah, become very slim, thin, and weak. But his mind, he's talking in a very normal way, very calm way. And then at that time, I think, or later, he leave a letter for all of us. He left a letter for all of us that he's suggesting. He's all kind of like a final words, final words, right? When people passed away, then they left some final words for their friends and relatives, right? Like that, he left a long list. That very touched that whole meaning. What he left on in those letters. He left many points actually. That he said, I never stopped doing Guru Yoga ever. And at that last day, I'm unable to do it. I'm unable to do it. This is when he passed away at that moment. And then he's saying, suggesting to all of us, practice is the more important than study. Please try to receive all those instructions. Don't spend your time just to get these scriptures studied. Not only those scripture study. Try to get it those instructions from your Lama. And these are some point he made it. Somehow here, what I'm saying is that he also wrote it very clearly. I think that he told us in hospital, I think. I'm just now a little bit mixing here. Somehow, what he told us is when he had this surgery and he meditated again Guru Yoga and he think let holiness, our let holiness. And he said, at that very moment, I clearly understand this mind and body is two things, not one. I saw very clearly at that moment because the surgery is going on. And then his mind is completely thinking something else. And then somehow he told us, at that very moment, I felt it very strongly. It's completely two different things. You see? But normally we don't have that sense. Right? Normally we think this body and mind, it's not too different. It's same, I think. We think it's the same. Wherever my mind, my body will be there. Wherever my body, my mind will be there. Sometimes we can understand that my mind can go to the India right now. Right now, I can go to India, Namroling, or somewhere Bodhicharayavatara. But my physical stuck in Canada here. But somehow I think, anyhow, so what I'm trying to tell you here is this method, if we don't have that sense, it's two different separate entity. If we don't have that sense, then maybe it's not work. But somehow, still now Shantideva is kind of like trying to letting us understand these are two different things. Don't make it one. Here, these are two completely different things. Completely two different things. So don't try to make it one. It may can help that if we think in this way, then it may can help to reduce attach. Again, the purpose is to, I told you that all this many different methods now he is giving here to detach this body. Okay? Why? The reason why is because of this, among the many those conditions, and this will be the source condition. Source condition? This will be the very fundamental condition for us to, for oneself to prevent to engage into the way of Bodhisattva's life. When we have so strong attached to this our body, then maybe we are unable to do any kind of practice. Not just way of Bodhisattva's life, even any kind of practice. We don't want. We can say that when someone taking care so much their body, then they don't have much time other than taking care of their own body, isn't it? So they may take shower 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and then they may make up twice a day or once a day. So this all takes our energy and time, isn't it? It prevents, yes, it does definitely prevent us to engage into real Bodhisattva's life. But at the same time, again, I'm telling you here, same thing, that Shantideva does not mean that you cannot take care of your body at all. No. Now these things, I think the second method, I think if anyone doesn't have that deep sense of understanding, may this method will not going to suitable. But still, now we can have a little bit idea through these teachings. These are two different things. Don't make it one. These are two different things. And then this again plus additional. It is not just saying in a scripture, but also I told you that my friend Truku, he really said that. He felt that moment when surgery is going on. He felt, and when he meditated Guru Yoga and when he think our Lord Holiness, at that very moment, he felt very strong that these two is completely two things, not one. These are now kind of like a very great experience actually. We can have that kind of things in our dream. Yes, and we may have that little sense. This is completely two different things. Because our physical is laying on a mat, but our mind is wandering wherever we want. If these are not two different things, how it can separate? Even on the bed, they must stay together. You cannot go, let's say, you cannot fall at that moment because your physical is on the bed and your mental has to be on the bed too, because these are same thing, one thing, not two things. So what Shandideva was really saying, if these two are the completely two different things, then taking care so much and having so strong attached to this body, it's not much useful. This is what he's saying. What is the purpose to having so strong attached to this? Since this is not you, you are something else. This is not you. But normal concept, we don't have this is not you. This is I am. This is who I am. Anyhow. And then another method now from here. Why, O foolish mind? Okay, let's let me read this one. 梦比一个记忆心术长嘛送你记，你长处的出国的，如果送的继续落。红马包比人办的，让给落一他的钱，下样日比找完了，写了存去给的钱，日本人讲也些呢，刚给把的大家心。对了，你不记住，那你今天到不了记。대달 베베 자장 대를 최지 인물 마통나 나동 치칠 차술지 kø니 레디 송아시스 64 송아시스 최지 매장 살메로 차양 동도 메로나 유동 십도 메로나 르지 쳐라 지식 차스. Until here, maybe the third method. This stanza number 61 to 65. I think we can understand this all in one. This is different method now. You see, why, O foolish mind, don't you appropriate a clean form curved in wood? How is it fit to guard an unclean engine for the making of impurity? Making of impurity. This is now kind of like it's teasing, isn't it? Shantideva is teasing here. Why, O foolish mind, don't you appropriate a clean form curved in wood? What do you understand by this? Foolish mind, don't you appropriate a... Is it curved? Curved? Huh? Carved in wood? Question mark. This is kind of like a teasing.
He's always telling us to be mindful and be like a lot of
No, what he is saying here is that why all this foolish mind, why don't you take care the form of tree which is clean form of tree? Okay, but in one way he's saying that. Why don't you hold a clean tree? Okay, clean tree. It is very appropriate to hold that one rather than holding and taking care and protecting this rotten, unclean engine, which is body now. This is kind of like he's trying to compare it. It is something like here. I'm protecting, how can I say now? I'm protecting this because I like clean. If you say so, then you just protect and hold it those clean trees rather than this rotten engine. Here they didn't read rotten, right? Impurity instead of rotten. I think they wrote impure.
There's different
impurity.
Putrid also means disgusting.
Rotten, kind of rotten.
Putrid means rotten.
Yeah, rotten. I think should be rotten. Here the word clearly showing rulva. Rulva in Tibetan is rotten. Rulva from the tishi rooms. It is something like that. If you really want to take care, clean one, then why don't you just take care of the clean tree rather than taking care of the tree, protecting the clean tree? Why you are trying to protect this rotten, unclean engine? And then Thomarpa Virimbade. And then here now he is kind of like trying to letting us analyze a little more in a deep, thoroughly. First, with minds, imagination, shed the covering of skin, and with the blade of wisdom. This wisdom is, he used the example blade of wisdom. Steeped the flesh from off the body frame. Is it frame? Right? Kind of like a frame. And when you have divided all the bones and searched right down amid the very marrow. Is it marrow? marrow. You yourself should ask the question, where is the essential core? If persisting in the search, you see no, what is that? Underlined essence. But yes, this is something, what do you call it? That we don't really want to persisting in the search for this. Right? Somehow persisting is far. Even we don't want to think here about this. If what he said here, if persist, then you will see no underlying essence. But since persisting is far, even we don't want to think about all these things. If we are not like to think, then how we can see this? No underlying essence. There's no way that we can see that. We will not going to see this. No underlying essence. It will going to able to see when we divide it in, we thoroughly contemplate or analyze within our body in this way, is using this wisdom, blade of wisdom to, it does not mean, right, again, literally, just ask to cut our hash, no. He just wants us to use our intelligence, that blade, to cut all this in pieces and pieces and pieces, and try to look one by one to see. And that also like, very persisting in the search. If we are try to look at search this with the persisting, then one will see no underlying essence. When we are able to see that, then why do you protect with such desire the body that you now possess? Question. Now this is kind of like he is trying to raise question within oneself. This is something not to say others. This is something we have to contemplate our own. Meditate rather than speaking up so much. One must contemplate, meditate, and then utilize this blade of intelligence or blade of wisdom. This is how meditate. And this is again, the purpose is to detach. That's the main thing, detach. Because when we have a strong attach, it prevents us to engage into way of Bodhisattva's life. And this body is the very biggest condition for us to prevent engage into way of Bodhisattva's life. Its fleet you cannot eat, O mind. Its blood likewise is not for you to drink. Its innards too unsuitable to suck. This body, what then will you make of it? So now this is something, if we don't look in a persisting, then we won't be able to see now. However, this method is now, this whole from this one method, from this stanza number 61 to this 65, five stanza, It's completely showing that, oh, that's how, if you look thoroughly within yourself and raise question within oneself, and then to try to see with the effort, persistently, then we will be able to see the underlying essence is kind of like a no essence. Huh?
Yeah. It's saying underlying is. Yeah, it's saying
Primary.
Beneath the
Yeah.
surface.
Primary.
Fundamental.
underlying sort of hidden essence, but it's not there. You just can't see it.
Uh-huh. It's not
empty.
there. Huh?
It's empty.
It's empty.
I think that's what he's saying. You're just not going to find anything.
Essenceless, right? That's what here they're using. 64.
So, you know, underlying.
Chöji nimbo matona, tadong chichir chasoji chöji, kyönin ridi suma chis. Yeah, chöji nimbo has no essence. You're unable to see the essence. There are big examples here. You need to search. You need to analyze. Yes, definitely. If we don't put effort, that's the one very another thing that I told you earlier. Putting effort and persisting is fine. Even we don't want to think that. That's the problem. Okay. Even somebody is showing recovering, as I told earlier, that lady died. Actually, I don't know, definitely she is willingly not showing, but actually now everything is on the road. Every people can see it, but it's still police must see it. They are covering it. If we see it at that time, then it also can give us some message from there. This is how nowadays the world, covering all the natural, covering all the truth, try to cover the truth, try to push behind the truth, and showing the lot of fake face in front. Naturally, we have this ignorance, plus we are creating great conditions to have a more ignorant. That's the nowadays. This world. Maybe before even the human wants to do that, but lacking of this all machine materials, not being able to cover it. Now in a one hand, we're thinking we are so developed, we are so in advance, and that covering all the truth and natural, and only showing the fake one in front, and then letting us utilize that fake one. Now, even in food, I don't know how much natural and nutritious that we are getting it from the food. Okay, so that's the third method that in short, this third method from 61 to 65, this 5 stanza is to analyze thoroughly within this body and then try to reduce attach. That's the main thing. That's the main point that Shantideva is making it. Okay? That second method, as I told you earlier, but it's still, yes, it is still work. that now we may have some sense that, oh, mind and body is completely two different things, not one. We may don't have this before. This is completely two different things. And then another method now from here. And yet it may indeed be kept as food to feed the vulture and the fox. The value of this human form lies only in the use you make of it. This is something Shantideva was now he became very exhausted by giving all this advice. Still we are not going to listening. We are not listening and following. Now he tired and he's saying this now. Still, if you want to keep it that, now he's saying, this is something like he's saying in a teasing way, or even more than teasing actually. This is kind of like he's, in Tibetan we call like Kyakya Cheva. Kyakya Cheva means, you know?
Sarcasm.
Huh?
Maybe sarcasm.
It's sarcasm?
I don't know. Like a little
I
bit.
don't know. That when I found this in the dictionary, I found it this one, deliberately. But it doesn't seem.
Deliberately.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that. When I put Kyakya Cheva, and it's showing this deliberately. But when I found the meaning of deliberately, it doesn't make sense. And I didn't find anything else. It is kind of like that. For instance, one example this can help. Like when mother telling to the children, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Repeat again and again and again. And that kid wanna do it. Kid may think that mother is asking me to do this because of her benefit. Right? Maybe mother preventing me to do this because she has some benefit for me to not doing this. And then mother got exhausted at repeating. Mother said, okay, do it. Then when kid do it, then he understands, oh no, this is for me, not for her benefit. Right? This is just like that. Even if you don't want to listen, even if you don't want to detach, then Shantideva was saying, okay, then yet it may indeed be kept. Now just keep attachment to your body and take care of your body. Make it very big so you can food to feed the vultures and fox. But nowadays, actually not fox and vultures. Maybe, how can I say? How can we put now, change a little bit, right? Maybe let people to look, you are very strong. You are what?
So you can look your best.
So you can look your best laying down in the box. Eat more and wash often. Take shower often. Now, kind of like this is what Shantideva was saying, right? The value of this human form lies only in the use you make of it. Now make of it. Right? Do it now. He is kind of like exhausted now. Maybe it is method, right?
It kind of is.
It is.
It's sort of saying you can turn this into feed the foxes, or you can use it to become precious. You can use it to become.
Yeah, that is method actually, yes. This is one method. That just like this method that mother, I told you, the mother telling their children to not do it, do, and then at the end, okay, now do it. That's the only method that she can apply at that moment. Okay, now do it. And you experience it yourself. But this kind of experience, sometimes it delayed everything. When you experienced it, it's already late. And then now there's another method, again, kind of like he's doing this again, again. Dida chöji sungyani chida tsewa mebayi chokde chadang chöji na desen chöji chijari. That whatever you may do to God and keep it, what will you do when the ruthless Lord of Death will seize and throw it to the dogs and birds? This is again same thing, that seeing the end of taking care too much. End of the taking care too much is very careless, right? If that's the case, why I should care from now? In order to raise that sense, he's saying this. And then again, same purpose again, to reduce, attach, and over taking care this body. Why? Because this body is the very condition, as I told you already at the beginning. This body, over taking care of this body is the greatest condition can prevent us to engage into way of Bodhisattva's life, to maintain Bodhisattva's vow, or we can say that too, to engage into way of Bodhisattva's life, or to not to transgress our Bodhisattva's vow. When we over take care of our body, when we over attach to our own body, then that selfish is getting very strong. The object, how to say, the basis of selfish is very much the body, yes. Body is the very source of our self-centered attitude. When we able to let this body go a little bit, how much we are able to let it go, this body, that much we are able to let it go the self-centered. That's why all this church practice is for that too. Since we are not really able to let it go in a very physical way, and then through this church practice, we are trying to let it go in a mental way. Yes, but always comes order in this way. First, you have to make in your mind to let it go. Then later in action it comes. If you are unable to make it, let it go in our own mind, then real action is very difficult. So in order to let it go in our mental stage, so these are the methods now that Shanadeva, what he provided. These are the methods to contemplate or analyze this. Here he gave this 5 different methods to analyze, to meditate. So we can reduce little by little, and gradually we can get rid of. This is it, the antidote now. Don't look something else antidote now. Here already he provided this antidote. how to deal with this attachment towards one's own body, how to reduce. Okay, so we may stop here. And if you have questions, we can discuss a bit.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tukula, you're talking about how we cover everything up so that we don't see the negative, and that stops us from maybe really engaging in practice or engaging in virtuous behavior because we cover everything. The news and Facebook and turn on the television, it is all negative. Most people are spending their lives frightened of everything. They're frightened. Some people are frightened to even drive a car because they can get into an accident, frightened to travel because there's terrorism. So, and how does
That's
that?
good, and then good. Then people will
Don't leave
people
the
will can say less drive, less travel.
But they're more paranoid and more mental illness from that. They're not using that experience of negativity towards positivity.
Yeah, that's exactly, Andrea. That should get the point from there, and then after that, no need to contemplate again and again. When need, may play. No needed, just let it be. That's the mistake. Yes, we're also making it. That's what I made it here, right? We need to understand the point why Shandideva was talking all this nonsense. These are something nonsense, right? No one wants to. I told you. He's saying persisting. If you search far, it is far. Even we don't want to think. He wants us to search persistently. Person who doesn't even want to think about this, how he can ask to search persistently? But without that, you will not going to see that point. And then also, yes, the point into what I'm trying to tell you is that he's saying something that's very sensitive, right? People doesn't want to think. But here, the point is that he's saying this, so I can reduce attach towards this body. Okay, so that's the point. As soon as I'm able to reduce to attach to this body, then purpose of this contemplating on it is done. Now you don't need to make it this pattern. Think again and again and make it yourself depression. And that's lacking, right? People not getting point from there. And then just reminding this
Getting
again
depressed.
and again. And yeah, this image, what he saw for, let's say, the accident, for instance, the accident in a Facebook, WeChat, whatsoever he saw. And in his mind, rather than taking point from there, oh, when I drive, I should be careful. If I don't careful, I can get accident in this way. Then that's the point from this watching this TV, watching this whatever advertise, whatever. And he's not using that. Rather than that, he's keep reminding this, oh, how that. And he's not getting the point from it. He's just stuck. Kind of like this. Some people, when they have some difficult, they just staying with the difficult. They are not looking further. What this difficult can be benefit for me to prevent in a future to engage again. Rather than that, just looking into it. Then yes, it makes depression. Similar. most of the Buddha's teaching, and especially the karma and defeat of samsara, then many Westerners, they think, well, this is nonsense teaching. Nobody wants to hear suffering, 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 all the time suffering, suffering. That's true. Actually, I always saying this. It is truth. If Buddha only showing the suffering, 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 then yes, you can say that this teaching doesn't work. But that's not the case. Buddha also showing the solution too, the source too. He's also pointing out the source, where it is coming from. And then he not just source, and he's also showing the opposite solution too, to deal with it, what you should really do it. But those solution, it comes in a very short sentence. Because yes, when even in a describing this, when we go to the hospital, when doctor describe the disease, then you have a lung problem because of this, all problem. And then when they really give medicine, they will just say, take this pill and you will going to be okay. That's short, very short sentence. The antidote is very short sentence, right? Just like that. In many teachings, it's like that. And when we are not getting that, when we miss this short sentence, then we missed it, the point. Then what we can really feel is only suffering. Yes, definitely nobody wants suffering.
Maybe we need to hear it many times, suffering, so that we can see the antidote and learn and say, okay, so maybe I can look at it this way. I can understand that point.
Yeah.
Now I can see,
Yeah.
clearly the antidote to that,
But there are 84,000 teachings for 84,000 afflicted emotions.
Yeah.
So
those really teachings, when you get to the point, it is very short. Just like that, I told you that the doctor saying, okay, take this pill, you will going to be okay.
So Tukula, back to my question, for those who don't have an inclination towards investigating further the effects of the negative situation, we are in a society that is just hearing bad news, and the solution is eat more, buy more, and spend more. That's what is being perpetuated out there.
Go say it again.
So we're hearing bad news all the time. We're hearing bad news. We see, this is my perspective.
Okay.
I'm hearing bad news all the time. And I know bad things happen, and from that, my friends, I talk to some of them, they just feel negative, depressed. They're not investigating further. They feel discouraged, or they feel, okay, maybe I'll go have some more samsaric fun. I'll spend more. I'll work more. I'll buy more. I'll make more money. And they are using what society is offering as a prescription for happiness or whatever it is. And it's feeding a society. How do we break that in anybody who maybe has some kind of inclination? Like it's, people want immediate happiness. They don't want to work for anything.
Yeah.
What to do there?
Yes, that's true. That's true too. We want immediate result. Those methods will not going to provide us immediate result. Now it seems like no other way than trying, keep trying. But we need to understand that. At least we understand now. Many people, even they don't understand at all. They think this is right. This is the right thing to do.
Many people.
Yeah. So that's now kind of like a worse than even understanding, isn't it? I think that's now just we have to be patient and keep try, work with it.
But our society isn't going in a direction that's
Yeah.
helpful for that.
That's what I'm saying. We're trying to cover all the truth. We're trying to cover all the natural.
And the biggest truth is that we have to work at things to be happy. We can't just expect it to be bought.
We
We have to work to get happy.
yeah.
That we can't buy it.
Buy it.
We
Yes.
can't, listen to a teaching from
Yes.
Bodhicharayavatara.
Not only
We have
that.
to practice.
Practice, yes, and engage oneself into it. Teachers can give you some methods to apply, like a doctor, right? Here's the paper. Go get it, pills, and eat it.
Thank you.
Yep.
What do you mean by peace instruction? I thought these are peace instructions too. Like when the Shantideva, he said, mind and body, they're not the same, and we should not be attached to the body. Aren't these instructions?
This stanza, what is that stanza? The second method, right? Second method to how to reduce attach towards one's own body. The second method, seeing these two things in a completely different. Yes, this is kind of like a paid instructions. That's why it is hard to understand sometimes, right? We don't feel this two is two different, right? We feel this is one. This is Tugudawa. And Tugudawa is none other than this, right? Without this form, there's no Tugudawa. We feel this is one. I feel here. Okay, this is Tugudawa. And this is not different than Tugudawa. See? That I have that sense. I'm never thinking that Tugudawa is different than this body, this form. The person who doesn't have that sense, then this method is difficult to apply. Tugudawa is different than this form. This form is not Tugudawa. Tugudawa is name. This is physical body. So, yes, it is with instruction. No, he's not saying again, don't take it that way. He's not saying that don't focus on those. He's saying, okay, rather than spending whole your time to studying all this, then you may also try to get some pit instructions as well. It's not saying that this is useless, you don't need to do it. No, no, no. He's saying rather than spending whole your time for it, right? You may take some time to spend for that one too.
Can you put an instruction that's suitable for you specifically?
Not necessarily suitable. When you go to the instruction, not necessarily suitable. Truth, real truth. Get the real truth.
So Tukula, are the sutras there to support the pith instructions?
Absolutely. This all works in this way. Yes, you need it. You needed this.
So it's also sort of practical sense. I think that's the wrong term to use, but it's good to have all the sutras, all the knowledge.
Good.
But if you don't put it into practice, then no use.
Yeah.
So that's what the fifth instructions are pointing out. Saying,
Yes.
try this.
Yes.
Now that you know this,
Yeah.
try this.
Try this. Rather than thinking too much, just think this.
That's kind of.
Just think this. Giving you one task and then contemplate on it. Now you will also understand. After you learn all these things, then you will also understand why they are saying that don't think anything, just think this. Why this? If you don't have this all background knowledge, then if someone say don't think anything else, just think this, then you may raise question yourself. Oh, maybe he's playing some game behind.
You have very confidence in this.
Yeah. And then you, if you have this background knowledge, then when those great authentic masters, when they give you instruction and then when they say, don't think anything else than this, then you are going to have a very certain, okay, yes, this is it.
So like today, you were giving us all the stanzas of Bodhicharayavatara, but the fifth instruction is our attachment to our body.
That's the one. That's the main point. He's trying to reduce and get rid
from
of
all those stanzas.
Yes. Purpose of all this stanza is this. Okay. We dedicate. Sunam de tamje zibani tomne nyebe pomje ne shigana je walan dubai seven zolen doan doan sho jambal bal jitra kemba kundu zambo de an de jende de da kunje jesu daloji gewa de da tamje ragdo gewa de shio Sunam Yeshe Zozo, Sunam Yeshe Lejoe, Tamba Kuni Tobrasho, Sanje Kusum Yebe Shinlandan, Chene Megura Dembe Shinlandan, Tedu Minchen Dembe Shinlanje, Jeda Moa Tobrasho. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all beings tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming, by conforming to the knowledges of courageous Manjushri, Jambhavya, and in the same way as Samantabhagra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue may all beings perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, Sonam, and wisdom, Yeshe, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulations. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sangha, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Trini, by the blessing of the infallible aspirations of the Sangha, Yin, May this prayer of dedications be accomplished just as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.